Back on the show today, I am Brandon Riley, filling in for Gitonji. Because it is Philippine American Women's Month this March on Kababayan Today, we pay tribute to our Kababaihans. Joining us today is the author of the new book released earlier this month called Latinos of Asia, Dr. Anthony Ocampo. Here's All Things FilAm with Dr. O.
Welcome to my very first segment on Kababayan Today. This is All Things FilAm. I'm Dr. O. Every time someone finds out that I'm Filipino, one of the first things they ask me is this: is your mom a nurse? We all know that stereotype that all Filipinos are nurses. But have you ever wondered how this stereotype came to be? Well, this is something that Catherine Siniza Choi, a professor at UC Berkeley, writes about in her book, Empire of Care. As it turns out, training Filipino nurses was part of the American colonial project back in the early 20th century. You see, the United States had pretty racist views of the Philippines, and they trained nurses as a way to help sanitize the Filipino people. Decades later, however, the tables were turned. Because of its growing population, the United States came to rely on Filipino nurses to help them care for the aging population. Since the 1960s, Filipina nurses have been recruited by hospitals all over the United States, places like Michigan, Texas, Illinois, New York, and of course, right here in California. For so many Filipino families now living in the United States, Filipina nurses were the pioneers. Today, in many American cities, it's Filipina nurses who run the show. In cities like LA, New York, and Miami, over half of hospital nurses were born outside of the United States. And as you might have guessed, most of these foreign nurses come from the Philippines. To be exact, 1 in every 3 foreign nurses is Filipina. And these female pioneers from the Philippines are inspiring a new generation of nurses, both women and men, to follow in their footsteps. Whenever I talk to other Filipinos, one of the things I hate hearing is when they say that a fellow Filipina is just a nurse. Can you imagine hearing someone say that another person is just a doctor, or just a lawyer, or just an engineer? Even our Commander-in-Chief, Barack Obama, knows just how important nurses are. As the people on the front lines of healthcare, nurses do difficult and life-saving work, the president said. In his words, nurses are the beating heart of the American medical system. In case you were wondering, yes, my mom is a nurse. And if you ask anyone that knows her, she also happens to be an amazing nurse. As a kid, I remember having the privilege to see her in action. To borrow the words of the great Martin Luther King, watching her nurse was like watching Michelangelo paint. It was like watching Beethoven compose music. It was like watching Shakespeare write poetry. She's absolutely in love with her craft, and along with the thousands of other Filipina nurses in this country, she's helping to save countless lives every single day. So the next time you hear anyone say that a Filipina is just a nurse, do us Kababayans a favor. School them. School them on all the important things that nurses do. Because the fact of the matter is this: it's going to be a nurse, and very likely a Filipina nurse, who'll be holding your hand in your greatest time of need. I'd love to get your thoughts on today's topic. Tweet me your comments and questions with the hashtag AllThingsFilAm. Maraming salamat, thank you, and have a great day.
Thanks for joining me today on behalf of Gitonji, who returns tomorrow with an exclusive interview with artist and singer Isabella. Follow me on social media at my website, brandonjriley.weebly.com. Maraming salamat po.